All right, we're all live. Can everyone hear us?
Yeah, we're on.
Sweet. Let's give everyone maybe a minute or two. Looks like we have 40 people joining.
You got
That's
a question
cool.
in chat, Matt. Can you define soon?
What did I say? We're going live soon. Yeah. Well, we're live now, so under a
That's a
minute.
very cultural thing soon.
Yeah. A lot of new
I'm-
features will be released soon.
I'm Latino, my husband is Finnish, and soon is a word that we don't share at all. When I tell
That's
him,
too
like,
funny.
can you do something soon? He's like, you cannot see I'm sitting, but soon for me is like the next 3 hours. So for him, it's right now. So
That is too funny. That is too funny. 3 hours and right now is very different.
I'm
Awesome.
Latino.
Well,
Ahora, it's like time is a very flexible.
that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, we have a special guest. Marcia, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Marcia Villalba. I'm developer advocate. Work with these two and the other side. I never know how my camera is mirror. I work in AWS in the developer advocacy team. So I'm not for any particular product. I talk about many of them, mostly serverless, Amplify, managed services in general. So I'm super happy that you invite me here.
Awesome. I'm so excited to learn from you today. So you're going to be chatting about location services, which launched really recently, and I haven't
It's not GA yet, so
not GA yet. Okay, even better. So we get to demo something that's not even like GA yet.
Yeah. And the cool thing that it's not GA is that it's free to use.
Oh,
So
there
it
you
should
go.
be.
That's a hack. That's awesome. Yeah, so I haven't had a chance to dive in to it yet, and so I'm really excited to learn and ask all the questions that I have for you while we go through this. And to the chat, you can also ask all of your questions as we're going through, and we'll try to get the best answer that we can for you. But again, this is like relatively new, so we're new to it as well. It's just part of the game, I guess. Do we have any announcements that we're supposed to say before we go live?
Yeah, announcements. No, I don't think so. I feel like there's always something to call out. I mean, the Discord is always a cool thing to talk about. The link is right below us if you want to sign up for our chat server. But otherwise, I don't think so. Essentially, just Amplify with Friends is every other Wednesday, and we've been interviewing all sorts of folks. And yeah.
Yeah. Also, we are hiring like wild right now. So if you want a job at AWS, either as an engineer, as an engineering manager, as a developer advocate, like
we have many positions in my team as well. If you speak Russian, Arabic, or Spanish, we need you.
That's awesome. That's awesome. You can also work directly for me or Matt. We are both managers and both hiring. So if you go to Amazon.jobs and search for Amplify or search for developer advocate, you can see all these roles that we are chatting about.
Ali, what is a developer advocate? That's a question everybody asks.
Yeah, I love that question. So I think of it as a hybrid between different jobs. So the first piece is product. At least for my developer advocacy team, we are embedded directly within Amplify. So a huge part of our job is giving feedback to the PMs on what people want to see from the product and kind of forcing those through sometimes if they can't be prioritized immediately. So that's one piece of the puzzle. Another piece of the puzzle is teaching the public about the tool. So making content, doing Twitch streams like this in order to educate people on the product and also how to get their solutions that they need from what we do. And then the last piece of it is software engineering. So I was a software engineer before I did this, and we create a lot of like fun demos and things like that in order to show how the product works and to build content off of. So still write a lot of code as well. And getting some questions about where locations are. A lot of the Amplify jobs are US. A lot of them are Seattle-based. Mine are remote, but kind of depends on the role. Marcia, did you think that was an accurate explanation of developer advocacy?
I think for you it's a little different than for example, for the developer advocacy team, because we don't work with any particular service. So for us, is instead of how we put a product as a specific thing, we talk about the platform and trying to make AWS as a whole more accessible for people in all kinds of ways. And I think we have many developer advocates all around the world, and they all have different ways of doing the thing. So everybody can bring their own personality and their own skills. In my team, for example, we have people that are enterprise, that they come from working in banking. We have people coming from startups doing amazing, cool launches and focusing on startups. We have people like me, developers from all life and really focusing on helping developers. We have operations people. So basically all the roles are welcome, because that's AWS is a huge platform, and we need all the different skills. And also in my team, we work a lot with different languages. So for example, I work with Latin America, I work a lot in Spanish, and also in Europe, in English. And so English and another language is always great for our team. So
that's awesome. That's really, really cool. And great that we're like reaching the different areas too.
yeah.
Cool. Anything else that we're missing, or should we dive into the demo?
Yeah, we should probably dive in. Just Decamps was saying you don't want to ask me about announcements because essentially I have had some leaks, but I've been pretty good lately.
You're getting trolled so hard in the comments.
I know. But yeah, I don't think there really are any leaks because it sounds like the service is fully, or it's not GA yet, but it sounds like it will be soon. Is there a date?
I don't know of one.
Oh, okay.
Do you know of one? Anybody? No?
Nope.
Soon.
Yeah.
Soon.
Yeah, but it's accessible. At least the location service, you can access it and you can play with it. So you don't use it in production. That's what it means that it's not like GA. So don't put your main things on top of this, because there's still things changing and everything is in the works. So, but it's usable and you can build things. And I've been building now for a couple of months on using the SDK and Amplify, and things have not changed in the sense that nothing that I built in the past break. So that's good.
Yeah.
But still, it's not a GA product. When things go into GA, they become GA means general available, and they become stable, and you can start using them in production. But when things are in preview, AWS doesn't recommend you to use them in your production.
Cool. Awesome. So it's a great time to give feedback if you have any on this, because it's still kind of rapidly changing and all that too.
Yes. So maybe we can start with what is this service that we are talking like a lot, and maybe nobody knows what we are talking about. It's called Amazon Location Service, and as Ali said, it was launched in re:Invent. It was one of the last launches. I think it happened on the 15th of December, when everybody already thought like nothing else will be happening. They dropped this, and it's a different types of service, I think, from the normal type of AWS service, because I think it's very, it's helping developers so much, in the sense it's a very practical thing that you can put in your application and use it right away. And that at least caught my eye right away in re:Invent. That is like, oh my God, I can build so many applications with this, because putting maps and doing geo features in your applications is so painful. I've built many applications with that in the past, and every time you need to import a third-party library and onboard a new provider and and you're already using AWS, so you need to do integrations, and it becomes very painful. And if you're in an enterprise or in a corporation with processes, onboarding things that are not already approved can take months.
Yeah. Like location is used in so many apps now. Like think about like it's like Uber for X. It's such a trope.
Yeah,
and so many maps integrated into that, and for navigation, and then also like things like DoorDash, when your delivery person is coming close to your house. Like all those things have to do with location. So
and you can integrate this not only displaying a map in your app, but it can be things very sophisticated like IoT tracking. And maybe you don't have a map anywhere in your whole ecosystem. You're just tracking devices and sending like notifications when something is close by. So it has a lot of functionality, and I recommend you to check the product page because there they give you some interesting use cases. I will be demoing today something quite simple that is tracking something in the map. And because I cannot move from my house, #coronavirus, I I have to fake that. So I will show you how I fake that as well. But you can do for, I don't know, when a customer is approaching your store thing, or whenever, I don't know, you want to send promotions to people walking in an area, or like you can really become very creative because it's so integrated within the AWS ecosystem. And I will show you some of those integrations as well.
Awesome. I'm so excited to see it.
Yeah, so maybe I can share my screen. Let's
Yes.
see. I will warn the population watching. I don't do live coding, so I have a beautiful cheat sheet for all of this that you can try. All the steps are here.
That's awesome.
Can you put the link somewhere so we can put it in?
I can put it in the Twitch. I'm a moderator there. So all the links are here, and you can basically copy paste with me. If you go to the README, you will see all the documentation. Here is basically what we are going to create today, because I don't know how to code in public. I'm a little dyslexic, and I don't know how to type. So in order to avoid any of wasting your time, I already did it for you. So also it will help you. If you want to replicate this, you can.
That's awesome. The live coding gremlins always come out. So
I don't do that.
Way to go.
I've been doing this thing for too long, so I know my limitations.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome.
And if you want to see it, how I done it, I have a YouTube channel where I post all that stuff. So basically what we are going to build today is in a series of videos, and there is a lot of more things. Sorry for my French. So you can find a lot of things here.
I love it. Your thumbnails are so
I
fun.
was just about to say that.
Yeah.
The thumbnails are really cool.
If you don't have good thumbnails, nobody will watch your content. So no matter how amazing your content is, you need good thumbnails.
It's funny because a lot of the AWS videos have interesting thumbnails. So, like on the AWS channel, it's just like a title screen. Like yours are clearly more fun.
You know, YouTube works in two ways. You need to have a good click-through rate, and you need to have a high watch time. But if you don't have a good thumbnail, you will never get the click-through rate. Yeah. So thumbnails are important.
We should have a YouTube like brainstorming session outside of this sometime, because I'm trying so hard to learn YouTube. It's so challenging.
Yeah.
To learn
I have a workshop. I will start one in America. So ping me afterwards.
Okay. Okay, I will ping you afterwards. Very excited.
So what is like the goal of this app, I guess?
So let's, I will close this because we are not going there yet, but I will be building an app that it's basically tracking a package. Imagine that you are, I don't know, DHL, UPS, and you want to modernize your thing. Somebody needs to find the branch in the map and go to your branch and drop the package, and then you can track in the map where your package is all around the world. And when it gets to your house, you will get, or close by, you will get an email. So it's used basically all the functionalities of the location services that maybe we can start a little bit from there and then move to, let's see here. So if you go to the location, to the AWS console, let me make a little bit this bigger, you will find the location service here.
Amazon location service.
Yes.
So it's not, oh yeah, so that is the service that's in preview.
Yeah, so it's in preview. And here you can try a lot of things using the interactive tool. I like this a lot. You can play with some of the features that we will be talking today without needing to code anything. So this is pretty nice. So there is 4 features right now in the location services. More are coming after GA. The first one is to be able to draw maps. And somebody might think, maps? That's so simple. No, my darling. You need to have the map information. And for that, you need to get it from some map provider. And that costs money. So whenever you're using some free tool, you are for sure adding more random things in your application that you're willing to. So, and then you will get billed eventually, because nothing is free in life. So when you use the Amazon location service, you are getting the maps for, now we support 2 providers, S3 and Here, and you will be getting the maps from them. They are the ones taking care of the maps, making sure that they are cured, and like, is it here? No, but we will get in there when we create the map. But you can basically see that there will be different types of maps depending on the provider, and they will have different features. The second part is the place index, and this allows you to do search. And again, people might think searching in maps is so simple because we are so used to Google Maps or to the maps from Apple, but no, you need to have some kind of repository with all this searchable information is, and these providers are providing this information. So you can search things like cities, I mean Helsinki, so you can search that, but you can also search things that are more specific, and you can add things into these place indexes as well. So there's many Helsinkis around the world, it seems.
Can you put pins on the map?
What?
Like a pin?
No, not yet. This is an interactive tool. So then you can do in your app, you can do whatever you're capable of programming. But I want to show you a little bit of the features before we start coding them.
And I was just curious, how does the pricing for this product work?
The what?
Like pricing for it. Is it?
Oh, it's complex. It's complicated. Okay. So you need, for now it's free, but if you go Amazon location.
I'm just curious to get a sense, because I know other services would charge
they
you.
Change it, and I have not really dived into it because it's complicated. Okay. So they have different pricing plans depending on how you're going to use this.
Yeah,
so go and read it, and then when this goes general available, you will need to choose what kind of pricing plan you are going to go in. And some of these prices have free tier, some of them don't. So you will need to read this in order to pick the right one. I imagine that when this is GA, they will have some link for helping you to decide which pricing model you want. But as this is free, so you can see here during the preview, you will not incur in any charges. So it's a good time to try it.
Definitely. Code all your demos right now.
Exactly. Then the third feature is the Geofence Collection. And this is an interesting one. Here you can build like fences around the locations, and you can have, it's a collection, so you can have multiple fences. So here you can play with it and draw them in the map. And you can see, where it's finished. Geofences are polygonals, so it needs to have at least 4 free sides, and each side has coordinates, and they are built in a very tricky way. So because I don't know how to do JSON properly, I have a tool that will build it for me. It's called Geodjson Io, and here you can basically go to anywhere in the world and do exactly the same that I was doing in the interactive tool, but you can download it later in the right format of geofencing. So when we get later into the demo, you will see that I upload a geofence, and this is how I build it. I build it using this tool that I will like click around, and I build the polygonal here with the sides, and then it puts the right coordinates for it, and you can build as many as you need.
Nice.
Yes.
It's a helpful tool.
It is, because I tried to do it manually at the beginning, and I was like,
too much math.
No.
Too much math.
JSON and like arithmetic algebra, I don't know, like it's too much for me.
Oh my goodness, too far removed from sophomore year of high school math.
I think if I put it in a paper, I might be able to do it. But when you're trying to I just want to get this thing done.
Yeah, for sure.
And then the fourth functionality is the tracker. And the tracker allows you to track devices that are moving. So one tracker can have multiple devices on it, and we will see that we will create a tracker and we will attach devices to them. And then you can add events that when a device crosses a fence, either enters or exit, then you can put an event in Event Bridge. That is our event bus. It's a service also managed from AWS that will take care of events and then send them somewhere else. And in our example, we will send them to SNS, Simple Notification Service, and that will send us an email. But you can put that message to a Lambda function, you can put it into a step function, you can put it into a queue, whatever you need, you can put that event into. So these are the 4 main features from Amazon Location Service.
Cool. I like this interactive demo. It's like good marketing.
Yeah, and you can play with the different devices, so you can have the bus here moving, and if you have a geofence, it will tell you if it's in or out. So it's a nice thing, and it helped me at least to understand what this was about, because I didn't know what this was about.
I love the bus. We have a couple questions from chat. So the first one is that we can build a digital fence around Matt, so Matt can't get out.
I am getting trolled today.
You're getting so trolled today. Yeah, and then somebody said they've set up a CloudWatch alarm in case he tries to run away.
That's a good use case for CloudWatch, actually.
Yeah. We're learning about AWS services by trapping Matt in Manhattan. Then another question, can we geofence based on users 30-meter radius or something like that?
You can create the geofence programmatically. So if you have an application, you can always use the AWS SDK to create the geofence based on whatever the user give you permission to do. The thing with the notifications of the device tracking, it happens every 30 seconds minimum. So that's kind of, but
cool.
30 seconds is not that much time. Yeah, awesome. So we can start building something. So I already did download the whole internet in my computer. I will be building a React application, and I run the npx create React app that downloads the whole internet into my machine. And I did that before joining the call because I don't want to wait.
That's what that does. I learned about NPM today.
Yeah, so I use it for my demos because then you start with a clean slate.
Yeah, that's super smart.
And the next things that I'm going to do is I will keep downloading the internet because I wanted to start with something empty. So I will install a couple of libraries. Another warning for everybody, I'm a backend developer. Don't judge. Yeah.
Oh, no, for styling? Oh, you're good. You're good. We're not judging.
Yeah.
No judgment here.
Just letting you know. That's why I installed Bootstrap, because at least things look kind of prettier.
Oh my goodness. I do not style demos. Like I've been mostly a front-end developer for the last couple of years, and still, like when I do demos, like you get white background, black text. That's what we're doing.
We did a cookbook last week, right?
Yeah, we did a cookbook.
And yeah, it was pretty basic.
Thanks, Matt. Thanks.
No. I mean the design.
It's true.
So I installed now Bootstrap and the components for React for the Amplify. And now I will do Amplify init because we want to use Amplify in our project. And I will basically say yes to everything. Okay, this changed. What happened?
Today?
Yeah, I update the Amplify thing before starting this stream, so I have never seen this before.
Yeah, this is new today because I upgraded yesterday and I don't have this. So, wow, this is really cool. Shout out to Renee and Nikhil if you're in the chat. This is really cool.
So I will not enter through all the configuration. I will say yes to this. You have saved my keyboard like 27 enters. Okay, I will use my profile, and that's the whole thing. When you're using location services, you can use guest authentication, or you can use authenticated authentication. For example, if you want to show maps or do search in maps, it can be done as a guest. But because our demo will be also tracking location, for that, yeah, you cannot do it as a guest. It's one of the limitations. It's not a limitation, it's a security thing that was put in place. But it's one thing, and I found it when I was developing. I first started having a guest user with Amplify for doing this, and then I could not do the tracking. And then I read the documentation that you need to have a username and password. You need to be logged in order to do the tracking of the device. So that's why I will add authentication, and I will go through the whole process on an authenticated role. But if you want to do just show the map or do the search, you can do it with the unauthenticated role. And that's basically the same steps, but just you will need to modify the AWS policies of the unauthenticated role instead of the authenticated role. So I don't know if it was clear, but I needed to make the disclaimer. So we will start adding the Amplify auth. I cannot type. That's why I will be copy pasting everything. Pop, 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 pop. Again, a lot of enters, and this will create all my authentication in my machine, and then Amplify push. And the next thing we are going to do is going into the AWS account and modifying the roles that Amplify is creating for us to give permissions to this Cognito role to access the maps of the location services. So we need to wait for this to deploy, but while we wait, we can go already to the AWS account and start creating some maps, because this will take a while. So we go back to location service and we do maps, and then we will create our first map. I need to put a specific map to it so then my copy paste will work without me hitting my head. So we go here and create a map, and I will put that name. And here you can see the different providers of the maps I told you before. You will see that there is S3, and there is different types of description for each of the maps. So read it and see if there is something particular that you want of the maps. There's many options for the S3 maps, depending on where your app is going to be shown. Then there is also here, and for example, this one includes some kind of 2.5D thing, so you can see the buildings. And so every map has different functionalities that you might be able to display in your application. And you can display this in your application in a web application that we are going to do, but within Android or iOS or whatever thing you're doing. So this is pretty nice. I will go with the default because, or I don't know, do you have some preference? Maybe this one.
Ooh, I kind of like the light one.
The light one?
But the gray one's the most unique by far.
This one?
Yeah,
Okay.
like the dark gray canvas. I don't know.
Looks very dark, moody.
It does. It looks very moody. Like it would be branded. Ooh, look at the 3D Berlin one.
Yeah.
My goodness. Very snazzy.
Yeah.
Very
I don't think my app can play this, you know.
It looks like a Sim City.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you will, if you do the right rendering of the map, then you will be able to see the buildings. So you just need to render it correctly.
Cool.
So, yeah. So we picked that one that Ali liked, and we create the map, and that's it. So I hope now my thing has finished. No, it haven't. So we need to wait. This is live demoing. That's what I like YouTube. I can edit all this waiting. But yeah, Amplify push always takes a little while. But I think it's the only push we are going to do in the whole thing. So it should not be that bad.
Cool. I feel like they should have like an optional flag on Amplify push to play like the Jeopardy music or something like that while it pushes.
While you're waiting.
Yeah, just for streaming.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Or should
Renee,
be like a cartoon or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there some questions that we can take?
I guess.
Oh, it finished. Yes.
Okay, it's finished. Never mind. You should continue.
Okay, so we are going to copy paste something. This is basically, I will show you, I will do npm start. This will format a little bit my application. So we are not adding any map yet. I just creating, oh, wait, went to the wrong window. Wait a second. Hop. When you have 27 different screens, that happens. So this will basically just showing the Cognito username and password to create a user, and it will also then when we create the user, basically showing the sign out button. That's what is that copy paste all about. So there is not magic yet there. But now that we have the Cognito in place, I will show you that in a moment. We can install a little bit more dependencies, and we will need the AWS SDK because we will be using the SDK directly to connect to the Amazon location services to do some of the operations. And then I will install some Amplify libraries that I think I need. I never know what I need. I don't know. So I always install libraries just in case. I should do a check on how many libraries I need.
Nice.
Yeah. I have that problem that I do a lot of fast testing, and then it's like, if I remove this library, will this work? But the two libraries that we need, let's type here because the other one is, I did npm start. The other two libraries that we need, these are important. And for this case, we are going to draw our maps with Mapbox.gl. That will as a tool that allows us to do the mapping. The way that this works, and I hope this is something that they will fix soon, is that you need to use a very old version of Mapbox.gl, like version 1, because after that, they ask for some token, and this is not supporting it. So make sure that you lock the version, because if not, you will hit your head with weird errors. And the next thing we need to have, because I'm doing a React application and I'm very lazy, I'm installing the React Map.gl library, again, with a locked version. That will help me to draw the maps in a very simple way, so I don't need to do complicated things. So this is my lazy using libraries thing. But
I was going to say, I just have a question. So what's the relationship between Mapbox and then the location service? I think that's the thing.
We will need to draw the maps. The location service will send us parts of maps, and somebody needs to understand those parts of the maps. They're in a standard, and for that you will use a library to draw them. Because drawing maps and moving around and being able to zoom in and out, you don't want to implement that yourself. So for that, we will use this Mapbox.gl. That will help us to drawing all the maps and adding points in the map and adding all these things that we are familiar with maps that we like. And
I see.
So, and the React Map.gl is just a built-in on top of that will add some kind of component.
It's like the engine to use the map service, basically.
It's to draw it, yes. It's to draw everything that we will draw in the screen will go into this map component, basically, because we will need to have we will add some pins, we will add some, I don't know, tags, and we want to search and we want the map to move around. So that's why the Map.gl is important. If not, it's very hard to, there's other libraries out there, and in the Amazon location service, you can find which libraries are supported to draw the maps, and they will explain you. So if you're using Android, iOS, and other libraries, you will find the specific libraries that work for your use case. So that you can find in the documentation. So now we will go into the Cognito part that I mentioned before, because everything is, oh, where is my mouse? Everything is kind of set up. So I will do Amplify console auth. And this is nice because it will open the right identity pool in the right place. I hope I'm logged into my AWS account. I think I am. So I will pick the identity pool, and this will jump into a window in a totally different screen. I will move it so you can see it into my identity pool. So if if you want to know how Cognito works, you have user pools for the databases of your users, and identity pools is the one that is given the temporary roles for your users connecting to that service. So whenever you're using Amplify, either if your user is logged in or not, we have this functionality of guest login, they're still using somehow the permissions on AWS, and you need to assign permissions because everything in AWS is born without permissions. So Amplify will make some permissions for you, but in the case of location service, you need to do them. So you go to edit your pool, and what we need here is just to get the name of this role. And inside the role is where we are going to put our policies, and we will be modifying these policies over and over again. So this is the name of my role, and you need to remember that. I will leave it open because I will forget it. And then I will open my IAM. And here is where you, this is getting out of all the fancy things that Amplify does, that you don't need to touch the AWS console at all. Sorry for all of you watching this, but sometimes you need to get into this part. But here, what I will do is to search for that role. And in that role, we will attach a policy, and that policy will give permissions to my applications to display the map, to the search, and to display the tracking. So those are the free permissions that we need. So again, I will look for this role, Amplify, drop the box, dev 205044, Amplify, drop. And I might have many because I've been doing this demo a lot, so 2025. And here you can see that is there. That's the authenticated role. Be careful, there is the unauthenticated role, and then there is some other roles. So we want this one, auth role. Make sure you have the right one. So that's why I was telling you, go here, so you have the right name. And then when you're here, we need to give permissions. So for that, you just need to add an inline policy. And this, also leave it open because we are going to add a lot of them, well, free. So the first inline policy that we want to add is giving our app permissions to display the map. So if, I have my cursor everywhere. So if you never play with this, basically a policy has three parts that are important. The first one is the effect. If there is no policy, everything is denied in AWS. So the first is the effect. We want to allow this resource that is calling the principal, that is calling this, that is owning this role, we want to allow them to have access, this particular access to get a map into this particular resource that is our map. So for here, we need the region, and you can take the region from your URL or from wherever you like your region. And this is in my case, I'm in Ireland, so I'm using that. Then you can take your account number from, for example, in the drop-down, you will see there your account number, and you can copy-paste it. This is all in the GitHub repo. I know it's confusing, but this is part of the AWS land. So if you want to use the service, you need to add this type of policies. And then the last thing is to add the map name. So that's the map that we just created, and we need to put it here. Oh, if I paste right. And this beautiful thing is our policy given permissions to the app. After we do it 3 times, you will be an expert on this, so don't worry. The first time looks very ugly. And I will put a name, and this is our policy that it's attached to our role. And now, Marcia, you need to put some kind of there. And this will be attached to this role. And now our application should have permissions to access the map. Because it's very important to remember that in AWS, everything is born without permissions, because that might be confusing if you are not used to that. So let's go back here, and I will copy paste a couple of parts, and I will show you now what is inside there, because now is when we are drawing the map. I'm also adding some formatting because, as I said, I'm not very good at this. So let's go to our app.js here, and here you can see how my application looks. Toggle, there. And I'm importing Amplify and Amplify Auth. And then I'm importing the location service SDK. and then the React map.gl that I mentioned. So these are the libraries that I already installed. Then I have my map name as a constant. So this is the same as the map. So here we have the first thing, that is this function. And this is the function that will get the resources from the location service and with the right signature and all the shebang and send it to map.gl to draw the thing. So this you can copy paste from the documentation. I don't think, like, you don't need to know what it's exactly doing. This is like this in the documentation, and you can paste it in your apps. If you don't know where the documentation is, you can I will share the link with you. There is a developer guide there that is really nice, and you can basically find the whole developer guide and see the examples. And this is something I stole like that from that example into here. So you don't need to worry what is really doing. It's basically doing that. It's calling with the right, where is my screen? Here. With the right credentials that, for example, is getting from Amplify, the service. Cool. So the other part that it becomes more fun, and here is where we are growing our application, is when I start using the map.gl library. So let's go down here. So this is the React map.gl like component that I'm using. And basically the first thing I need to do is to create a viewport. And that will be like, what is the piece of screen that is visible in this case when it loads, but we can change the viewport as we move around in our map. So basically I'm just initializing the viewport somewhere, I think in Canada, and you need to define it with a zoom. The next bit is the transform request. So this function that we just create, and you need to pass the credentials, and the credentials are here, the Amplify credentials that we just change with the right policies. So you can get them from here. Where is my set credentials? So it's using that Amplify library to fetch the credentials from the auth user that is connected. And then basically I just give a style, and I have a W there, I don't know why. And the rest is just basic things. I just give a style, a name, and we can see if we want to show the compass or not, but these are just basic things from map.gl. And we will go through this demo, and we will keep on editing the map.gl to make it a little bit more complicated every time. So let's go, whoop, whoop, whoop. Where is our React app? So the first thing I need to do is create an account. I will create one very fast because I need to be logged in for this thing. Tiki, tiki, tiki. And let's see, an email. Whip. Whip. Where is my email here? I'm getting my verification code. This is one of my favorite things from Amplify.
You have a lot of codes.
What?
You've put a lot of codes in, it looks like.
I do this like 20 times a day. Let's see if my maps draws, or I forgot something in the way. Live demos. Where is my map? Failed. Why? No, now it's
wait, here it goes. Just refresh. That's always,
yes.
Always fix it.
I like that. So now we have the gray map that Ale wanted.
It works well with the Amplify colors, like the bright orange and the black look good together.
So we can move around, but this is kind of boring because we cannot do much with the map. So let's add search now to the map and see how that works. So the process is very similar. Now we added the map and we need to add search. So we go again to the location service and we create a search index, a place index. And this is even easier than to create a map. You create a place index, you put the name that you want. I will put that name. And then you have to pick if you want the place index to be from S3 or from here, again, the providers. And it has some different features. So just pick the one that suits you. You might want them to be able to store the search results or do more advanced things. But I will just go by the defaults because we don't want to get in that messy thing. So let's create a search place, and this will allow us to search. But we need to modify our policy again. Yay! We need to do 3 times this thing. So we are in the same role. We go to the location policy, but now it's easier because we have it here. We just go to edit policy. And where is the JSON? These policies are all in that GitHub repo, so don't worry, don't panic. They're all there. So you don't need to to remember what I'm doing because I cannot remember these things. So I will add another policy here. And this visual editor is because I did it with a visual editor and I should remove them from my copy paste, but you don't need that visual editor. And again, we are giving allow permissions to the thing that is impersonating this role to access the search place index for another region and account. And we will copy that from here. Oops, copy paste, Marcia, you need to know how to do that. Yeah. And then with the index name that we just created. So this policy went faster. If I copy the right thing in the right place, it will be lovely. I don't know, I'm failing at copy pasting. So my job as a developer advocate is totally bad. So yeah, so now we save the changes and we have permissions to do this thing. So what we are going to do is we are going to add some code that I will show you how it works, and you will see that the search box appears. So where's our code here? Terminal here. And then I will copy, again, I will modify the app.js file with not the name of the index, but this thing. If there's some questions, you can interrupt me. I just get in the mood and I start copy pasting very fast.
I love it. I love it. No, this is awesome. We do have a couple questions if you want to dive into them.
Sure. If they're not too difficult, I'm always happy.
No, so the question is, does it work with offline mode?
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a great question. I don't think so.
Okay. At least for now, the answer is no. But
No.
That's definitely an interesting.
I would assume no too.
Yeah. But I think that could be
complicated.
an interesting feedback piece of.
Yeah, the team is very interested on new features and where to go next. So go ahead and you're in the team of the mobile and development. So so shoot the feedback to Ali.
Yes, please send it all to her.
Thanks everybody. Yeah, no, that's true though. Give me feedback, I will bubble it up. The other thing is it possible to do the same demo with Angular or Vue?
Yes.
Not right now, but in theory. Okay, cool.
It is not in theory. It is possible, and exactly the same thing I'm doing. You might need a different React component because it's a React component, but there is things for support for Vue and Angular, iOS, Android. I think React Native. There is some examples in the documentation page, so go ahead and check it. I'm not a front-end developer, so my choices are very limited. But in the documentation here, you will be able to see what kind of tools are supported. And also it depends on Amplify and the AWS SDK, if it has support for this. But they keep on adding support for newer AWS SDK. So, but Android, iOS, and web, it's totally supported. So I don't know for newer things like Flutter or things like that. I don't know that. But for the most common things, yes.
Cool. Awesome.
So here we have our new app.js, and what it changed is I added a new function called search. And this is not doing anything. It's just creating a little box in our app. So you will see that box later, but this is just displaying this little box with a button. And then the search function itself is a little bit down here. So again, don't judge me on my messy coding.
It's not messy.
But it's here, and this is the search place function. And here is where little magic happens, because we are going to call the AWS SDK. And to call the AWS SDK is where we need to have the client for the location service. So before, to show the map, we didn't need the client, but now for doing the search, we need to have a client. And how we create the client? Well, we create it here. And for creating the client, we need the credentials that we get from Amplify. So you will see that in the auth current credentials, and we are getting that credentials and passing it to the client. And then we need to pass the region, and that will create as a client. So it's very simple. After you have set up your authorization and authentication with Amplify, then it's just very, very simple to create a client. And then we will call the method inside the client is to search for place, for index, for text with the right parameters. And the parameters are very simple. It's the index name that we just created and the name of whatever we are searching. So this is a variable that we will pass through that little box, search box that we are doing. And when we get that, in the case of my demo, because I'm a terrible front-end developer, I will only go to the first location, but this will return you an array. So you can build it very fancy and have display all the 27 different results and make the user be able to click on all the results. So for example, if you were doing this as a DHL or FedEx, you can search for UPS branches or FedEx branches, and it will list you all, and you can go and click on the right one and navigate to the map. But in our demo, I will just go to the first result, and I will move the map into that result. So that's why I'm doing the set viewpoint. And also I'm creating a marker. And here is where the map GL gets into place, because we can start creating these little things like the markers, and we will add more nice things into that place. So here our React Map GL now has a little bit more things. It has the marker, and well, that's and a pin. This is a component I created to draw the little pin in the screen. So you will see it's a very simple thing, but feel free, if you like, you can reutilize all this code and make it better. So we refresh, and you should see this little pin here. It's super tiny.
Oh, wow. So that's really cool.
Yeah, that's really cool.
We can search for Helsinki. Now we're in Helsinki. We can search for Panda airport.
So this is going to Mapbox, essentially, whatever you put into the search.
So basically, this is going as a request to the location service, and the location service is returning an array of places with coordinates that I can use in my map, and I can draw in the map the right place. So you can search more specific things like, I don't know, airports, or as I said, this will only give you the first result. So if I put McDonald's, it will just take me to the first one that it likes. So the first one is somewhere in the middle of nowhere.
Wow, where is that?
Oh, wow.
No idea. So that's what I say. My results are not very optimized, so you can do a lot of things. Yeah. So
Very
Australia,
cool.
McDonald's. That's what you get back.
Really, that's the first one on the list. Love it.
Yeah. So that is how this works, and it's very simple. After you master the policies, it's just basically copy pasting around and adding some usage of the components. So that's the search and the map. So now we will get into the most interesting part, that is to add the tracker. And then for the tracker is exactly the same routine. We go to location service, and all of this that I'm doing, you can do it from AWS SDK, sorry. I imagine soon from CDK as well, but from the AWS SDK, Marcia, SDK and the AWS CLI. So you can programmatically create the trackers, you can programmatically create the maps, you can programmatically create the place, search indexes. So all these things that I'm creating now from the console, you can do it programmatically if you want. So this is just, I like to show you things. If not, you will be super bored.
Cool.
You might be already, but at least I'm showing you something.
No, I mean, your React code is super impressive.
I'm enjoying this.
Yeah, for not a front-end developer, you got some pretty great React code there.
Yeah, I'm married to a client developer, so I need to put my
There you go.
He complains always on my ugly pages, so I put my effort there. So let's create a tracker, and again the same routine. We go to the location service, and we create a tracker, and we put a name.
A tracker is like a pin, basically.
No, a tracker is a entity that will have resources linked to it, devices linked to it, and the devices will be sending locations.
It's like the
Yes.
example Ali said. It's the DoorDasher with your like Chinese food.
Okay.
Or like with your food, like it's the person moving it around.
No, this is not moving. This is just a box of devices. So your person with the food will be the device, and we will get there in a moment. So this is the tracker. So it's an entity that has devices attached. And the devices, you don't need to create them in the location service. You just basically, whenever you want, a device will send information to the tracker on where it is. So that's kind of the relationship. And then we will attach this tracker later on to the geofence. So all the devices that are attached to this tracker, whenever something happens, get in or out of the geofence, will be triggering the notification pipeline. So the tracker is like an entity, abstract entity, because devices, you might have millions. So you don't want to really go, even programmatically create them, might be very painful. So yeah. So the tracker is this entity. And this is the first thing we need to do, create the tracker. Then we go back to IAM. So by now, everybody watching this stream understand a little bit more about IAM and how policies works, because we will add our third policy. And this is giving permissions to the application to get access to the information that the tracker has in all the devices that it has. So this is the same. We are allowing this thing to have access in the device history, like of all the time in the world for all this device. So that's why it's important, these policies, because you don't want to just random people on the internet being able to see all the device positions. So that's why these policies are super important. For the maps, you might say, well, maps are a standard thing. But when you get into like tracking data, you really want to make sure that you are giving the right permissions to the right application, because by giving this permission, you are allowing the applications to see the whole history in all the devices inside this tracker. So this is quite an important permission. And this is something you cannot do being unauthenticated. So if you want to do this with Cognito, you need to have be registered with your username and password to this, because this is a very important permission that you're given here. So we have created the policy same way as before, region, account number, and the name of the tracker that we just created. And this is the last policy, don't worry. We just save, but I hope you learned something about policies today. We save, and then we need to go back to our client, and we will modify it a little bit more. Did I save everything? Yes, because I have so much this zoom in that I sometimes don't see all the buttons in the screen. So let's go back to my code. Sorry for the messiness there. And let's get the latest version of this app.js, so I don't need to type it for you. And here I will be doing something, but I will not be able to show it exactly what I'm doing until we don't do the geofencing, until we don't do one more step. So now I will show you the code. This code, what it does is it will also create a little box. So we will see here that we have a track box. And this is, again, a box where we can press a button and enable the tracking. So the tracking is not happening all the time. And when we enable the tracking, then this other function will run. Where is this? Where is this? Where is this? Here, get device position. When we enable the tracking, then the get device position will start running. And this will poll the location service every 30 seconds. I created here a polling thing that is updating every 30 seconds and is getting the information from the location service. This you can do in multiple ways. If you want to do it in a more, I don't want to get all the information every 30 seconds, make it longer, or build it in a way that the server is, you're not harassing the backend all the time, but this is a demo. So bear with me. But this works very well. You're just polling every 30 seconds. And you're not hitting any particular service, your server, it's just the location service. So Don't do it less than 30 seconds because the location service updates every 30 seconds. So if you do it faster every second, it's pointless. So, and again, we are going to use the client, and we are going to call the client that we created before, the get device history. And for that, we need to pass some parameters. And here's where the device ID comes into place. This is something that we can even put as an input. It can be package ID, blah, 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 or order ID, blah, 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 something that is very ephemeral, that is something that exists for short period of time, or something more persistent. So this is the device ID. The tracker name, we already talked about it. And then when we want to start the history period. And because I don't know why, I put it in 2020 November. I think I copied from some documentation this time spot when I started to get my time. So put something that makes more sense for you. And the end time is now. So basically, we are getting anything that happened in this device even before the service was created. And this what will return is an array of markers, basically positions and indexes. And that will let us know in the world where our device is. And based on that, then we can draw these positions in the map. And what I'm doing is setting these dev position markers in the map. And this function is doing that. Where is my function that does that? Let me see. Where are you? Where are you? Because this one is the one that is creating all the markers, and it's basically drawing them in the screen. So you can see here is the marker that we saw before, and this is the pin function that draws the little thingies. So, and then you can see in the React map GL that I'm adding here the tracker markers that we are, this array of markers with pins, I'm drawing them there. So you will see all that now in the screen. Well, not yet, because we are not sending location from anywhere. So if I refresh my screen, if I find my mouse, we will see the track button that is enabled. Oh, there's things happening. Somebody is sending something. That was not expected. I was not expecting that there's things. Let's move. Now there is no more things.
It's refresh. Always fixes it.
This is the end result. But yeah, if we press track, there is things, but there should not be things. I think this is because I've been reutilizing a lot of the names and something I forgot to delete it. But basically, this is how it looks. Now we don't need to wait for 1 million hours from our package to move all the way up. But yeah, but if you want to send the location, so this is good. It saved me a lot of time. There is a script I built if you want to test, because nowadays who can get out from their houses? And for testing that, I like to use the AWS Cloud Shell. So I can show you another reInvent launch. I'm a developer advocate for all the services, so that's what we do. This is also a really cool launch from reInvent, that you can have a shell in the cloud with all the latest AWS CLI, so you don't need to update your CLI. And here I will give you in the GitHub repo one shell script that you can basically run and send location information that will produce something as beautiful as this, because it's basically increasing the coordinates by 1 in a very good mathematical approach. But it works for the demo purposes, because we will have the geofence somewhere here in a while. And whenever the thing crosses, then you will receive a text message or a mail. So this is a simple way. But if you can do exactly the same from an app, if you put it in your iOS, you can call this, still sending things. I wonder from where. Mystery of life. But yeah, so you can send basically the locations from an application. If you can move out from your house, I cannot. So I will upload the file, and this is the script. Lots of things. Where is?
There's one quick question, by the
Sure.
way. Is geolocation working with Amplify Flutter?
I don't think yet. I don't know. You should check the documentation. I don't think it's working with those new things, but you should check the documentation because, again, this is not GA yet. So maybe it comes. I don't know. So in that sense, check the documentation.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
So I'm just giving execution permission. So what this file does, let me open it for you. I will open it in GitHub. Where's my GitHub? So I can show you. This is not there. Where it is? Scripts. This file is basically using the AWS location. Oh, it's super small, sorry. It's using the AWS location CLI, and it's sending positions with the latitude and longitude that I'm establishing here. I told you I will increase the latitude and longitude by 1. Very, very smart.
Wait, what were you saying?
That this is the script that I'm running now in the shell.
This is so fun.
And this is a script that is sending location because I cannot get out from my house.
Okay.
You're like spoofing your location.
Like by 1, like each time. Okay.
Yeah, it's just going in a diagonal. So latitude and longitude. So if you let this script run for a long time, it will fail dramatically because you will get out from the word because the word is flat.
Oh my goodness, that's so funny.
Be careful. You will end up in a flat word, but basically it works for the purposes of testing. And as again, I cannot travel anywhere more than in my 200 neighborhood to go to supermarket, and that will be very spooky for the internet to tell everybody where I'm living.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
So for that, I created this script. So it's available in that GitHub repo. And basically, you can leave it running, not for very long, because, again, the word is flat. But basically, you just need to give running permissions, and then you will send... why you're not running? Is it there? Yes? No? I told you I cannot type, did I? I get very nervous on screen, so things that I do all the time, it becomes like very like Marcia.
Yeah, that happens. That happens.
I always tell this to everybody because sometimes people think like, oh, you're super people, you are in screen all the time. Yeah, but no.
No, not at all. So
we're
nervous.
still human, so I need to type this. I don't know why it's not finding it. But basically, you just call that, and then you give the tracker ID. That is the one that we just created. So it's in my whip, in the top of my file, and also the device ID. So I have some device ID that I put here that I've been using a lot. That's why you're seeing it move. So let's give another one. So there is nothing there. Now we ruin it. You give the tracker ID and the device ID, and then it will start sending locations for that. And this will run. Why I don't have permission? Well, it works, believe me. It's too late in the day to start debugging. But the script is there, it's work. I just need to give the right permissions to this thing. But it will generate something like this. And then when the device gets into the place where the geofence is, you will receive an email. So let's create that geofence. I will not show you the email because you will see it in my phone. So you will need to trust me that the device will move and the email will appear. If not, we'll be here forever. So let's create the geofence. You can see it all working in the YouTube videos where I'm relaxed and I'm not sweating like a pig. Yeah. So I'm very honest. I'm sorry.
No. I think it's great to be honest, and I think it's so real that it's very nerve-wracking to have people watching you, whether you're in an interview or you're on Twitch stream.
Exactly. So I'm very honest because I think we are people at the end of the day. So no super person. So let's create a Geofence collection and a collection of these polygonals where it can be your branches if you are DHL, or it can be your customer houses if you want to create them programmatically from some information, or where your users are with some radius, depending on your phone. So you can create these programmatically. I will create these ones manually. So I will just call some name. It doesn't matter here. And then here is where Event Bridge becomes interesting. This is just for monitoring. So this is optional. I will just create it, but this is just for monitoring purposes of what is going on in your geofencing. But the interesting part comes now. Where? Oh, I have it already. Okay, let's put another name, something like 2. Pop. That happens when you do this demo many times. So now we have the geofence, and we need to add a geofence. And again, I show you that magic page where you can create your geofence and download it. You can create as many fences as you need, put it in the JSON, and upload them to the right place. If I can find it here, at geofences. Again, you can do this programmatically if you need to. So here's my file, and I add it. This has a geofence around El Cairo, just for you to know. I will not show exactly everything because it's very boring JSON. Then we go to the trackers, and here we can link that tracker that we just created with the geofence. So our tracker was the FooBar tracker, and we can link it to the geofence. So, oh, that's why there is it's already linked to another geofence. That's why it's doing all this kind of weird stuff. Yeah, so we link it to this geofence, and that will happen now every time any device that is sending to this tracker is going to trigger the geofence. And what happens is that a message will be sent to event bus, event engine, event bus, event engine. As I told you, I'm tired. To the yeah, event. Yeah, I'm sorry for that. Event bridge. Yeah, so many names. To the event bridge, it will send a message to the event bridge every time a device enters or exits the geofence. So that's pretty handy, and you can do whatever you want. So because we want to send an email, but you can do whatever you want, you can enable the notification. So this is all backend things, but without doing any backend. And I think this is very powerful because any person just going to the console can enable all these things and enables all this functionality in the backend without really needing to deploy any backend code or any backend service or anything in the backend. So you will still use these managed services that are backendish without really needing to do any Lambda function, EC2 instance, or anything like that. So these are all managed services. They scale and they can take all your load. So SNS is a service that is in charge of notifications. So in order to start with it, again, you can do all this programmatically. You can create a topic, and basically you pick the standard one, you put a name, and here I will create one. And then this you can tell, just go with the basic. You can tell them what kind of subscriptions you want to have. So basically, you want to attach email addresses here, or where it's select the protocol here. You can attach email addresses. You can attach HTTP requests. You can attach a queue. You can put messages in a Kinesis Firehose. You can send the messages to Lambda. But you can do also SMS or even do notifications for your application with this. So if you put email, that will send an email to any email address you configure. So you just put your email address here. I already created my subscription, my topic, so I will not create it again because I'm duplicating everything. But it's a very simple thing. And then you will go to event bridge that we just talk about it. And this is a really cool service. This is like a event bus that basically will take events from different applications. And events are what this geofence is sending, like entry and exit points. And these are basically little JSON files that has some little information about something. So for example, in the GitHub repo, if you go to the README, there is a template of the event that we are going to be tracking. So you can understand what an event is. It's something super, super simple here. So it looks like this. All the events are more or less these. They might have more information. They have a little less or more specific for the service. But at the end of the day, they have a source, who is sending the event, some kind of information in the detail. And basically, in this case, is the name of the geofence. And we want to know, or we want to get an email every time somebody enters this geofence, what their exit. But if you leave this empty, it will just basically send you in both of the cases. So this is how events looks, and you can use these events or in any kind of situation. So basically, event reach will be connecting these two services, the location service with the topic that we just created. And that you can do with a rule. So you create a rule, and the rule will be the one that will get the event from location service. Will see, oh, well, it has this, this, and this. In this case, this geofence name and this entry endpoint. And then the rule knows that it needs to send it to this other service. So all your events from AWS will go through EventBridge. There's so many services that are using EventBridge internally to communicate to each other. So this is a really, really cool service. So you just put a name to the rule, and you can define the pattern, or you can run these on a schedule base. But in our case, we want to run it whenever something enters the geofence. If you don't want to type anything, you can use the predefined patterns. And here you will find all the AWS services. There is also third-party services that can connect to EventBridge. And here you will find the location service. And here you can define if you want it in all events or in some specific things. I like to do it for a custom pattern because I want to define exactly the name of the geofence and also the entry and entry point. I want it as an entry and not always. But the other simple predefined pattern also works very well. So you can just copy the rule that is in the GitHub, and that should do the magic for, oh, I'm clicking in the wrong place. Again, and here we put the geofence name of the geofence that we just created. Oh, Marcia, you just close it. No!
Oh, no.
Well, it doesn't matter because we are not going to test this end-to-end, so geo name. Because something is broken somewhere. You save, and then, but you need to believe me, this works. You can see the YouTube videos. But at the end of the day, I show you almost everything. So here, the interesting thing, we just define what is the entry point of the rule, what is the value of the rule, and then we need to select the target. So basically, when this rule matches, we are going to call the SNS topic that we just created. And that will do the link between our location service and the sending an email. But here you can do so many things with that message. So be free to imagine what you can do whenever somebody crosses the geofence. There is so much that you can do. And this is why I love EventBridge, because it makes everything super flexible and super powerful. So yeah, you don't need to worry about the retry policies. And this will create the rule. So now basically, if my sending thing work, whenever our little device cross El Cairo, I will have received an email in my phone. But because I don't know why it's going on with my script, that it was working a while ago, now it's not. So yeah, so that's kind of the whole thing.
Cool. Cool. This was awesome.
And I'm exhausted.
Yeah, I can imagine. That was a lot. You did so many things within this demo. You got so much done. Super impressive.
Yeah, but everything is working in the YouTube channel. So go ahead and check it out there.
Cool. Awesome. I'll bump up your YouTube channel again in the repo.
Yes, I will put the links. Let me find it here. Oh, no, here is not a good one.
Cool.
So I give you the right link. Oh, you put it already. Okay.
Yeah. I
Good.
got you.
Good. I was pasting it. But yeah. So yeah, so you can go and check it there. I put videos every week. So they're mostly serverless and Amplify and stuff. So
that's awesome. So definitely need to follow you.
I just subscribed. I wasn't subscribed. Everyone.
How you are not subscribed?
I don't know. I also have many YouTube accounts, so
gets confusing.
It's confusing.
Yeah.
But everyone who's watching should subscribe.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I'm better at the YouTube than live streaming. I sweat way less.
No, you did amazing. You did so well. This is
seriously,
really cool.
I mean, the demo worked. I mean, it's totally a new service. A lot of new concepts you explained well. So
a lot of concepts. I think people are like with their head now, like, oh, I need a drink.
Yeah. Well, it's confusing. There's like pins, there's devices, there's trackers. There's
And then I put the policies and
Yeah.
event bridge and SNS and all
A
these
lot.
things that maybe the Amplify audience are not really familiar with.
Exactly.
But I really like this service and the way that it integrates with AWS. So maybe it sounds really confusing for all of you watching now that you just got into this 1 hour and a half of craziness, but it's really, really powerful with really, really little. So building these things from scratch, as a developer, I've been doing this type of applications, not the front end, but the back end of these things for many years. And it's so much work and it's so much maintainability, and you need a backend developer to do these things. Now you're super empowered to just get your AWS account and start tinkering with all these services. They are all pay as you go. They all have amazing free tiers that you can go explore and try things out.
Yeah, so true. So true. I've done similar on the front end as well back in the day. So definitely a huge thing. And you're getting a lot of love in the chat too, both for your YouTube and this demo. So you definitely killed it. This is really fun.
Nice.
Someone
Thank you.
said you are amazing. You're an inspiration for many of us. That's very nice.
Oh, that's super nice. Thank you.
Awesome.
And you also finished the demo on time, which I'd like to point out is very impressive.
Yeah, like with the perfect buffer too.
With just
like
buffer
10
for closing.
Yeah,
remarks. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, again, I guess our things to plug are follow Marcia on YouTube, and we're hiring. So again, apply for jobs. And we've got the Discord there as well. So jobs in all sorts of departments: software engineering management, developer advocacy. What else?
Yeah.
And also, I would like to point out, because I think sometimes we forget to talk about solution architects. They are based all around the world, so you don't need to relocate. So if you are based in somewhere in the middle of nowhere, for sure you have an AWS office nearby that is looking for solution architects. So it's not that you need to move to the States to work for AWS. No, you can do it from your own country. For sure, there is an AWS office. It might be small, but I'm sure they're hiring.
Yeah, for sure. And PMs. Renee is in the chat
Yes.
saying we're hiring product managers for Amplify too. So if you want to decide what location service, has as features, then that could be a good role.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Also, so I did just reach back to the team. So basically, Amplify will be a bit more integrated with location service, and I got word to announce that we'll be having an RFC that will be posted. So a request for comments that will be posted. I didn't get a date, but they said soon.
Nice.
So keep an eye out for that, because that's a great way to get feedback on how geolocation could kind of be more integrated into Amplify.
And routing is coming for location service as well. That's one of the features.
Michael
that
is asking, will you be speaking at CDK Day?
No, I'm organizing the CDK Day, so I will be somewhere in the back room.
Yeah. I guess, Ali, do you have any talking engagements that you'd like to promote?
Oh yeah. I do so many. It's like one of those things that you always ask me this, and it's so hard because I normally do like 3 a week. Okay.
Well, excuse me then.
No, you're good. Okay, so tomorrow I have a workshop with UI.dev on Amplify. We're going to be adding storage, data, and authentication to an application. It's going to be like an Instagram clone, so that'll be fun. And then Friday, Twitter Spaces, we're going to be doing this one on low code, so the admin UI mostly. And then what do I have on my calendar next week? I'm doing React Finland on Wednesday.
You're traveling to Finland.
Yeah, virtually traveling via Zoom to Finland. I wish really traveling. That'd be fun. Tomorrow's my vaccination day, so the day that I'm 2 weeks post last vaccination. So it's very exciting. So maybe travel is in the horizon, but who knows? That feels still far away. Yeah, those are kind of my next 2 weeks of speaking. Amplify with friends in 2 weeks as well. Every other week, you gotta come hang out with us.
Yes. Do we know what we're doing yet?
No, we should come up with that.
Yeah. We're always open to feedback on this show in our Discord. We have a channel called Amplify with Friends. So We're trying to sort of have a guest and then more of like a news desk sort of update type show. So yeah, always looking for feedback.
Yeah, or if you just have any content ideas of like, here's what I like to see, please let us know. Awesome. Well, thank you again so much. This was a ton of fun. I know I learned a lot, and I'm sure our audience did as well. You've been getting amazing feedback in the chat.
Thank you, everybody, for watching and staying with us for 1 hour and a half.
Yeah, thanks for being on. And I believe this sort of like recording will be on your YouTube. Is that the plan?
Yeah, we can put it there. I'm happy to have it.
Okay, because sometimes people like join in the middle, so they ask where they can find it. Okay, well, thanks, everyone. I guess we'll see everybody later. Thanks for watching. Bye.